Welcome to the Football Diehards Draft Strategy video number 2. Had a blast a couple days ago doing one, and we're starting to get into this. Emil Kadlec with Armando Marsal. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Getting to watch some preseason draft a fantasy football team doesn't get better than this. You know, we're just waiting for the regular season to start, but we got to prep for that, and that's why we're doing this. To kind of, you know, break out these players and break it down and you know, teach and pretty much see what we got going on, what we're thinking and stuff with our draft picks. You got the number 2 overall pick tonight. In this
draft. Just to let everybody know,
nice pick.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, we're using best ball MFL 10s, as you can probably see on the screen. Well, you will when we switch to it, and it randomly gives you picks. So I got pick 2. Armando has pick 12. So it's kind of fun because we get different positions now. As Armando and I were talking a few minutes ago, there's really 4 really solid running backs, and you can argue and argue all day, but the fact is they're all pretty darn good. So I kind of wouldn't mind having the 4th pick, because then I just, okay, whoever comes to me, I don't have to think about it. But I got the 2nd, so I get to think a little bit.
And like I told you before the show, I mean, I personally don't think that you can go wrong with any of the top 4 backs. You can make a case for every single one of them as far as taking them first overall, and you can make a case as to why not take them first overall. So don't really think you can, you know, make a mistake with, you know, one of the top 4 picks. Like you said, I think it is easier having the 4th overall pick because you really don't have to make a decision. But I think you'll be fine with whichever running back you decide to go with here.
Well, statistically, and I don't have the stats in front of me, there's probably 1 out of these 4 running backs that's not going to do very well for whatever reason. So you can make a mistake, but predicting that mistake for at this point in time is very difficult. They're all pretty young except Le'Veon Bell, so he's kind of got a risk of having a lot of touches over the last several years. And this year it was over 400. Don't have the exact number, but a lot of touches on that man. But he seems to find a way. He has been hurt a little bit, but he seems to find a way. Of course, David Johnson just came off an injury, a fluke injury of a excuse me, of a broken wrist. So those are some inputs. Gurley's very young, 3rd year, right?
Yeah, he is. But I mean, I think he's the safest one of the bunch. Honestly, I think there's just the best, you know, best situation in general. When you look at the offense, when you look at the offensive line, when you look at the team, you look at the age. To me, that's the best, you know, situation of all of them. I think Zeke Elliott is right behind them as far as youth. The mileage is not there for him. And, you know, there is some question marks with this offense. But what we do know is that they're going to run the ball through him at all times. He's going to, you know, easily average over 20 touches a game, I think. So you know you're going to get the volume. It's just a situation where you ask yourself, okay, is this going to be like Gurley a couple years back where the volume was there but the production wasn't, because every opposing defense knows exactly what to do and just stack 8 in the box and make it very difficult for Ezekiel Elliott to gain yards. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that is something you do have to consider when you're you know, thinking about Elliott.
Well, yeah, is the passing game of Dallas going to push back those people and not do 8 in a box? That's the question. I like David Johnson because he's just everything before he got hurt the year before last year. Now they've got a different quarterback, Sam Bradford. I worry about the guy, but at the same time, he's got experience. What does he get, like 70% passing efficiency or whatnot? Oh, we're getting close to the start of the draft. Hey, I'm on deck already. Let's flip over to the board so everybody can see the board, and they can't see us, so I can take off my hat and my tie and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm going to go for David Johnson unless I change my mind. Even though, I mean, if Todd Gurley slips to the 2nd pick, I guess I could think about it. But again, here's my dilemma. The top 4 picks, I might as well be the number 4 pick. But I'm not. I'm number 2. Which means I'm picking two picks later in the 2nd round, which I don't like, but that's the randomness of it. 15 seconds. I can't hear you at all. Why can I not hear you? Just a sec. Okay, can you talk now?
Yep, I'm here.
I can hear you now for some reason.
Oh, okay. No, what I was saying was, just like, there you go. Gurley went number 1 overall. So there you go. Is David Johnson going your way?
Yeah, let me just think for a minute. Not long. Just got to flip over here. All right, I'm going to go with what I said. It's funny how this is a great example of you do all this planning and then you get in the draft and you start getting paranoid, you start getting insecure, and then you hear people in the draft room kind of laughing or saying, I wouldn't pick that guy, he's got, and all of a sudden you start doubting yourself. And you shouldn't. You should prepare and not worry about what other people say or the thought processes.
Yeah, trust. Look, there you go. Zeke Elliott went 3rd overall. So Le'Veon Bell going 4th. Not surprised at all. I am really not surprised here. Yep. Or he hasn't gone 4th. Or yeah, he did go 4th. Antonio Brown. So pretty standard here. I think the top 5 picks: Gurley, Johnson, Elliott, Bell, Brown. I think those 4 backs are going to be in the top 4 picks in the majority of the drafts this year, regardless.
So what is your plan now for pick 12? You get double up there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, someone I've been targeting, I don't know if they're going to be, if he's been sometimes falls this low. I don't know if that's going to be the case tonight. It's Dalvin Cook. I really like him a lot. I think they're going to, use him and utilize him. We just saw him, very little last season, and what we saw, I was very impressed with. He certainly passed the eye test for me. I think he has a bright future in the NFL. Very good running back. I saw him a little bit in college and saw what he did in the NCAA, and I think he is just an elite running back. So
what do you think about the recovery from the injury?
I'm not too concerned. Nowadays I think these kind of injuries where they are, it's not something that I'm just forgetting about. But I think with today's technology and today's rehabs and today's surgeries and stuff like that, I think players recover from these type of injuries a little bit better. We've seen, Adrian Peterson. I know he's a freak of nature, come back from these type of injuries and do just fine. So I'm okay with it. Now there's 2 guys right now, and if Fournette and Cook, I don't think that's going to be the case because there's still 2 picks ahead of me. But if Fournette and Cook, I'm on deck.
It's getting close.
If they fall to me, I would love to go with that 1-2. There we go.
You got your shot.
I'm doing it. I mean, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm going Fournette, Dalvin Cook. I think these are 2 guys that can essentially finish in the top 5. I think they have that type of upside.
I think that's an extremely great. I think the fact that Fournette has been going around 8, 9, 10, that you got both those guys, fantastic. It fell in your lap, and now you got to hunt for some receivers. But that's a great position to be in with both those guys. I like that.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that I wish all my drafts would have fell to me this way because it's just if I could start off with those 2 guys, in every draft, I pretty much just do it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's very good. Fournette should not last that long, personally.
No, I don't think so. I told you in last show I moved him up in my rankings. I actually moved the running back 5. Just think that there's so much upside there.
Yeah, Cook, I've seen Cook go 11. I've seen Cook the 2nd or 3rd pick in the 2nd round, so that one wasn't as fortunate. But getting both of them, pardon me, I got a little bit of sore throat. That's a great situation. Now we got to I got to start thinking about my pick. I'm obviously going to I like to balance. I like to make sure and get good players at both positions. So I got to see what receiver comes back to me, and who knows, I may just take another running back if I like one. But I'm hoping that a valid receiver pops down to me, and it's going to be kind of tough. It's not going to be, not the cream of the crop. We've already had 5, 6, 6 receivers go. So
yeah.
It's clicking away.
Yeah. You got Keenan Allen just went as well.
Yeah, I don't think Devontae Adams is going to make it to me. I don't think Green, and I'm not really sure if I like Green. What do you think about A.J. Green this year?
I think with A.J. Green, you really can't go wrong. I think it's just, steady production. I think this offense in general might go a little overlooked. I know Andy Dalton isn't all that great. Well, there you go, AJ Green. You're not going to really have to make
So
a
I
decision.
solved that problem there. Man, it'd be great if he didn't make it. So now, I got Evans, I got Thielen, I got Tyreek Hill, I got Hilton, and the next receiver, running back McKinnon, Drake. God, these guys are drafting like you wouldn't believe. I'm taking all my whatever, how many seconds I have. I can't even find my draft.
We talked about this last time, and just get your guys. Don't.
All right, let's see what I got here. I'm not prepared. I was talking too much. Evans was gone. So I don't, I'm kind of in a position where I like Thielen. I like a lot of guys. I kind of want to take Hill, but it's a bit early.
I think in best ball it makes sense if you want to take that approach and go with the high upside guy. But I agree. I think maybe Diggs, Thielen, those kind of receivers maybe provide a little bit more of a floor with similar upside to Hill. So it's just a matter of what you want. I also like Hilton quite a bit at this pick, but that's just taking a high variance approach.
Will these guys stop picking so fast? This is killing me. Well, man, this is tough. I don't like this because I'm not there's not a level where there's one guy left that I go, wow, this is the guy, and the level happens, except maybe Gronk, and I really don't like taking tight ends right now without feeling comfortable. So McKinnon still scares me. I know people are just all over McKinnon. And I'm just a little worried. I mean, here he hasn't even made it through preseason, and he's got a calf injury. It's a little early for Drake. Maybe I'll take another receiver here because I've got some running backs that I hope will get down to me at the next round. It's kind of a risky. So I better hurry up and decide what I want to do here. I'm going to go to receivers. We got Tyreek Hill, we got Thielen, Baldwin. You know what? I'm going to go Tyreek Hill, even though it's a little early. But just like you and I are having to put up with right now, it's a good example for the people watching this. I'm at one end, you're at the other end. You're going to have 22 players go by your next pick. I'm going to have 20 players go by my next pick. That's a lot of players.
Yeah.
And,
it is.
Could I get Tyreek Hill in the bottom of the third, early in the fourth? Maybe, but I don't pick there. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to pick till the 11th pick in the fourth round, and he's going to be gone. So if I want him, I have to take him there. If I think it's paying too much, then don't take him. There go the first two tight ends that I let go.
Yeah, and I'm okay with what you did, actually. And I really like this the approach you're taking here. I like the Tyreek Hill and T.Y. Hilton pairing. They're both very volatile and high variance.
Yeah, it is best ball.
But in best ball, exactly my point. In best ball, you got two guys that any given week can score 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards easily. And I really am expecting a big season for Hilton this year, just because he has Andrew Luck back, and I've been talking about this all off season, and so long as Andrew Luck is healthy, I think Hilton's one of those receivers that can just finish top 5. We've seen it before, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it again this season.
And you're dealing with
Minnesota.
Yeah, you're dealing with double receivers with Minnesota, which are two guys obviously I let go on purpose. But you're dealing with the unknown in Andrew Luck. I mean, it looks good, but we've heard that story before, but we have seen him play now, so I think we're feeling a little more confident about it. So what you thinking to do now? You got 3 picks before your 4 picks before your next pick.
Yeah, I'm kind of really debating here what to do there. McKinnon, I'm glad he's off the board because I didn't want him to land to me, because then I would have had a little bit tougher of a decision, to be honest with you. There's still a couple guys here in this range that I like quite a bit. I'm very surprised Aaron Rodgers hasn't gone. I'm not going to take him, but I am very surprised he has not gone.
Well, there's 2 more picks before your pick. Oh, Baldwin just went. That's a nice pick because he's been hurt. So, and Drake went.
I'm gonna. So, okay, so I know what I'm gonna do, and we got 50 seconds, so I'll talk a little bit really quick to pretty much let the listeners know my thought process here. I already have 2 running backs. I don't need to go for another running back, obviously, but considering the receivers in this range right now, I'm very happy with any of the ones that fall to me in the next round, which I'm back to back. So I'm going to take another running back here because I have a lot of faith here in Ajayi. So I'm going to take him. And since I'm picking again, now is when I'm going to take my receiver. And like I said, I think people are going to start taking quarterbacks now. Some tight ends are going to come off the board. Running backs, are thin at this point, so people might start panicking and taking them. So I still think that I'm going to get very good value at receiver in the next round, which is why I went Ajayi here. And I have Allen Robinson as one of my bounce back players of the year, which is why I'm taking him as my number 1 wide receiver. And I think that so long as he stays healthy and he's able to, battle through everything that he went through, he's going to be a high volume, receiver here in Chicago. So I'm taking him as my number 1, and I'm happy about it. So I really like this line of construction that I did right now. I have 3 running backs that I think can all finish in the top 15 for sure. 2, which I think can have potential to finish in the top 5, with a wide receiver that we've seen finish top 10 before. So in best ball format, I really like this start to my team.
Yeah, I really, this is the kind of thing I preach about a lot in the draft strategies on our website and the stomp theory and whatnot, is you got to look at players that could end up being a wide receiver 1 that weren't last year, or in any position. But in this position, you were able to get really great depth at running back. And if you have guys like Allen Robinson that you've studied, that you believe can take a step up this year, then you need to take that chance if you want to be able to have a winning roster, instead of just going down, walking through the ADP saying, oh, I can't do that now. I'm afraid to do something. And you took the chance because you believe in Allen Robinson. It's not just, oh, I'll just take him. No, you've studied. You think that guy can be a wide receiver 1. So now you believe you have a wide receiver 1, and look at your running back depth. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And, you got to do that stuff, in my opinion, to win.
Correct. Especially a position where, it can be, with injuries and things like that, it can become pretty tough to deal with. And in best ball, when you don't have a waiver wire, you just want as many running backs as possible. And I think I got 3 workhorses to start off this draft. And I'm very happy about that. And I still think there's plenty of other options that I can get later on to balance this lineup out. And I think the receiver position is very deep, and there are guys that I'm interested in that are going maybe in the 4th, 5th, 6th round that I feel that haven't gone, and I feel I can get, in the next couple of picks coming up. Now that's early for Dion Lewis for me. He just went in the 4th round, 7th pick in the 4th round. It's just, to me, that's too high.
I was in a draft with Fabiano. He had this best ball draft with a bunch of really, really high stakes players. And he went relatively early. I don't remember exactly when he went, but earlier than I was expecting. Maybe we're wrong. I know you've got Henry who went in the 3rd round, and Dion Lewis who goes in the 4th round. That's pretty high up there.
Yeah, I like Lewis as a player. Loved him when he was in New England. I think he's a very good running back, very talented running back. I just don't know if he's going to have a significant enough role on this offense where he's going to, warrant a 4th round pick. I wouldn't mind taking him in maybe a 6th round pick, but I think 4th is a bit steep, a bit too expensive for my likings. You pretty much has to hit his ceiling to pay off this type of, draft position.
Yep. Hey, this guy's taking his time. I like it. Give me some thought process.
There you go. It gives you some time to think.
And I need it right now. Oh, here he is. Crikey. What a mess I've got on my hands here.
You're doing good.
I don't know. What is this round? We're coming up on
I really
4.
like that. If I'm in your, you see, this is the thing. Go ahead. You're picking, so I'm,
Yeah. Okay. What I'm really dancing around here again. What I'm trying to do is figure out what's going to happen a few rounds later. I've got 2 picks relatively close to each other, and I don't have a real good feel for it. But I'm going to do something a little offbeat if I can find him on this list. I'm going to take, this guy about a half a round earlier, and that's Corey Davis. And then I'm going to see if this running back I think I took last week is still there. Now that's a bit of a reach. There's a lot of guys between here and Corey Davis, but again, I have the second pick. I think he's got upside, even though it's a running team. I'm hoping he becomes a wide receiver.
I actually love that pick. I love that pick. That was one of the receivers I hope landed to me in the end of the 5th round.
And that's going to be hard because he's been going in the middle of the 5th, so it would have been hard for him to reach.
Correct.
But I like your Allen Robinson over him way big. Yeah, it was good stuff. So it's again, sometimes you got to reach a half round to a round ahead if you want a guy. And I left Landry on the board, which I think I love Landry. I love Landry, but it's the Browns, and are the quarterback's going to get him the ball? And Landry may beat him out, and I may say, well, that was a stupid pick, and there goes Landry, the guy I was talking about. So,
no, I think you're fine. I like the approach. I really do. I would have done the same exact thing. And it's funny because, I'm picking towards the end, and you're on the clock now, so I'll talk a little bit here. But
go ahead.
You mentioned earlier you're at the front end of this, and I'm in the tail end of the draft. And it's funny because if I'm where you're picking, I probably have a very similar roster construction to the one you currently have. I really like the approach you're taking as far as taking high upside receivers. You obviously took a stance here with the number 2 overall pick and taking David Johnson, a running back that can potentially finish number 1 overall. We've seen it before. So I really like the build you have right now, and I probably would have taken a similar stance. I'm just interested to see what you do now, because I would probably start finding players with a little bit of a high floor or a relatively decent floor.
Well, I took Marshawn Lynch. I don't know if you noticed it.
Which, there you go. I mean, I was going to wait for you to say that, but yeah, there you go. That's what we're talking about.
Hopefully they can read the board on this video. But yeah, I had another running back I kind of like, a rookie that I thought I could take. But, the reality is I love drafting sexy. I don't know if you've ever heard that term, where you get these rookies and you get these flashy players. But Marshawn Lynch, the aged one, he had some good speed in that week 1 preseason game. And really, I may be able to get this guy I'm thinking of in the next round. And if I don't think it's a horrible thing, because rookies are exciting but risky. Well, here they go. Hogan goes.
There you go. I mean, these are all guys I had on my list, and they're going really fast. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments here.
Delete those off the cheat
one
sheet.
of those guys. Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers with the 4th pick in the 5th round. Later than usual. So this crew here is QB late, at least so far.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Jones went. I forgot to mark him off in that first pick in the 5th round. Another thing that a lot of high stakes people do, and people who play a lot of leagues, is they like to vary their rosters, and I forget the term, but you get ownership. You kind of even out your ownership. And since I've had Landry in a couple leagues, instead of taking him, I took Corey Davis. And who knows, if Landry came around to me in the 2nd pick in the 2nd round, maybe I'd have considered him, but I was really thinking running back at that point. Coleman's gone for Atlanta. And you've got 4 more picks before yours. Burkhead just went.
Wow. Carlos Hyde went. Wow.
Yeah, you know why that is?
Yeah.
He just played really well in tonight's game in the first quarter. Ran for like 54 yards and a touchdown in the first series for Cleveland.
Still seems to be steep for me.
Hey, again.
Hey,
those
are the kind of picks. Those are the kind of picks that win a championship sometimes.
They can. I mean, if this guy gets 80% of the carries or 70% of the carries, not including Duke Johnson catching the ball, he could be a high running back too this year. Maybe his future is in question.
Can.
Pardon?
He certainly can. That's without a doubt.
Again, it's not a sexy pick, but it may be a very powerful pick when the season starts. And there's the guy I was going to take instead of Marshawn Lynch, but I decided not to. Royce Freeman.
All right, now here we go. This is where I take a chance. I'm going with a very, very high upside player. There's some questions, off the field questions here. We don't know if he's going to be ready for the start of the season. But I'm okay with that. I'm going to take a shot. Josh Gordon here, I think, is just, there's a ton of value. Go back to back here with another that, we don't know. He might miss the first 6 weeks of the season, and I'm okay with that because I'm willing to take that chance. And I'm going Alshon Jeffrey. I just think this is good value here.
Yeah.
I am obviously taking a ton of risk in drafting both Gordon and Jeffrey as my next two receivers, because technically they're the 2 and 3 on my roster, and there's a good chance that neither of them might be playing week 1, but I'm planning the rest of my draft, accordingly, and I'm making sure that I'm going to fill those voids in case they're out. But I just couldn't, when you look at talent and when you look at, upside, when in this round and position where I need players, these are the two top guys on my list right now.
Yeah, those are fun picks. I love the way you're taking the risk. You got the solid running backs, and you're taking this risk that if you're right, it's going to be huge. Of course, the nice thing about best ball, well, typically, Alshon Jeffries will come in when he comes in. Same thing with Gordon. But the nice thing is sometimes when people come back, they're starting week 3, and you put them in, and they get 1 catch for 5 yards, and then the next week they have the big week. The best ball allows you not to have to worry about that. Notice Evan Ingram went the tight end for the Giants before Jimmy Graham. Not that that's surprising, but Jimmy Graham had that big catch in preseason yesterday. Sometimes that influences drafts, even though it's preseason.
Yeah, and I was actually considering Ingram there, but when I saw, I like that James White pick just now in the 6th round. It's very early, and that's probably with what happened yesterday. But in this kind of format, I really do like it because White's the type of player, you don't know when he's going to have a big game, but he's going to have a couple big games every season. He's been in this offense for several years now and been very involved in the passing game there, and I don't think that's going to change this season as we saw in yesterday's preseason game. Might be a little early, but in best ball, once you get to a certain point in the draft, just take the guys you like and guys you believe in.
Yep. Look at the quarterbacks starting to kind of fly off the board here.
Oh, I'm hanging tight this time around unless Cam Newton falls to me again in a beautiful round. Then I'm just going to have to take it again.
Yes, that was enjoyable in the last video 1. I had a good time heckling you about waiting on quarterbacks. Lasted about 5 minutes.
Right?
I'm on deck.
So
I have no idea.
I wanted to go. I think you're on the.
Pardon?
I think you're on the clock.
Yeah, I am on the clock, and I'm just glancing over. I'm very not prepared here, so too busy talking. I'm going to take another bizarre pick here that's kind of not high on the list here. There are people before him, but I'm going to take Isaiah Crowell for this first pick, and I'm going to bounce right around the corner here and have to take another. I just think he's another unsexy player who's going to get a lot of targets, and he actually catches about 30, 35 balls. People don't realize how many balls he's catching. And now I got to decide what I'm doing next. It's a very unbalanced situation. Oh, Jimmy Graham, which is something I was considering. Jeez. Well, it's so tough being such a long way around, isn't it? We're at the beginning of the set.
It really does get a little key, especially if you go very heavy on one position like I did. When you see a run like I saw in that round where a bunch of receivers went right before I picked, it does become challenging. But that's when you don't panic and you just continue your plan, stick to your board, and go with it. Don't panic. Don't draft him because you need to draft a player because they're flying off the board. So.
Well, after Graham went with the first pick in the 7th, I took Fuller. I had 2 or 3 options there, and even though he's a number 2, pardon?
I like that pick.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he's got one of the top 5 or 4 quarterbacks, and they use him with the long ball, and it was effective. I think that's going to continue. And I guess I just like the fact he's going to have big games, and this is best ball. And I like him anyway. He's sexy. Now, that's a sexy pick right there.
I like the approach you're really taking here. You know, you mentioned this is best ball, and you got a lot of receivers that on any given week could finish as a top 3 or 4 receiver.
Yeah, and even if it's not best ball, because most of our watchers are non-best ball, I'd take him anyway in that pick. I didn't even think about the best ball, but it does add because he's a hot and cold guy. He's not a huge PPR guy, but it did start to improve. You know, he can do that. So it's the 7th round. Certainly not going to be around in the bottom of the 8th. So if I wanted him, there was other guys. Woods, I won't mention a few because you pick. You know, Edelman's an interesting guy now too. That there's Crawford that's gone.
He's actually the next guy on my list, so I'll be taking another guy that'll be missing a couple of weeks, but that's okay. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, what's going to happen in Washington at the receiver spot in Washington is really kind of exciting to see what happens. And Crowder has an opportunity to be the number 1 receiver there. And there goes Edelman that we just talked about. What else do we have? And Chris Thompson went with the 5th pick in the 7th round, who's got injury issues. That
Jamal Williams went. That's surprising. He just got injured yesterday.
Yeah.
It's nothing major, but it's so surprising he went.
But should you worry about the preseason in that regard? I don't know. Sometimes we overreact. All right, one more pick before yours. And Chris Carson just went for Seattle, and you get 2 picks.
Oh, I see that here. Let me see.
Yeah, Ronald Jones for Tampa Bay went just before him. And we had our 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th tight end go. And I don't know. Tight end's an interesting position for me this year.
See, you know, again, I said it was going to happen, and it's happening. You know,
another risky pick.
No, it's Cam Newton. You know, I think I took him in the 7th round last time as well, and he's just a player I feel very strongly about. You know, as far as fantasy, I have him ranked number 2 in my quarterback pool. I typically wait around, but when you have a quarterback like this hanging around there in the 7th round, and you know all the other positions there's really nothing all that enticing. I'm going to take a shot. So I
like the pick personally. Here. I really like the pick. I have him 3. You got him last draft after you said you weren't going to take him. But again, it's despite best ball or not, you've got he's the 5th quarterback. You got 22 picks before your next pick. You know, after your next pick here in the 1st round, the 1st pick in the 8th round. So there's going to be a few more quarterbacks gone, and he's probably going to be gone. So if that's the guy you want, it's time to take him.
Yep. And then here I'm going to go with, you know, it might be a little early, but Robbie Anderson. I think he has a ton of upside. You know, if he the off the field issues aren't, you know, something that catches up with him, or something that, you know, gets involved in his playing time this season, I think, you know, he has a ton of upside. We saw him have a pretty decent season last year. I think this is a team that's going to be trailing a bunch and tossing the ball. So I do like Robbie Anderson here. Maybe it's a bit of a reach for some, and I get it, but I'm okay with that because I don't really have to decide when I roster him or not. When he has that big game, I am going to accumulate those points.
Yeah, I just the worry that he may get suspended at some point does come into play, but at this point in the draft, you know, that's the kind of thing you got to. Did Jordy Nelson go?
Jordy Nelson went. Yes, he did.
Where did he go?
He went right after Robbie Anderson.
Oh, there he is. I looked down to find him, and somebody took him. Says he's my next pick, or he was my next pick. Let's put it that way. So what have I got? I have got. Go ahead.
No, and I'm saying, you know, these are the guys, and Robert Woods went right after Nelson, and these were 2 guys I had on my short list. But at this point, I rather just take my shot with the upside. you know. And I think at this point of his career, Nelson's upside is pretty much capped. He's on a new team, so I'm not expecting him to just, you know, produce like he used to when he was with Aaron Rodgers. I think it's an entirely different scheme, an entirely different approach here for the Oakland Raiders offense. And then Robert Woods, he's coming off a good season, but there's just a mouths to feed here in the Rams. So I am concerned on his production. You know, is it gonna continue this year or not? So I decided to go with upside, and those are the kind of decisions that you're going to have to make, and it really is a matter of what you feel more comfortable with, what kind of, you know, the risk tolerance that anyone has when you're drafting, and my risk tolerance clearly is a little bit higher than most because I have currently 3 receivers that might not play week 1, and I only have 4 receivers on my roster. So,
well, I'm on the clock now. I've got a pretty balanced team. Could I get away with waiting the quarterback at the bottom of the 10th? Wow, that's pretty far. But I don't really like what's going on.
I think there's a ton of quarterbacks still left that I would be very, very happy with, to be honest with you.
Well, that's you. I'm not necessarily that guy. Just kidding.
I mean, Eli Manning is still available, and we know. Yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
you know how I feel about him.
Yeah, and I don't feel the same, but I like the guy. Okay, let me look real quick. What do I got? 18 seconds. The guy in front of me's got a group tight end, so I can take a non-tight end with this pick. I'm going to do another non-sexy pick and take Calvin Benjamin. And the reason I take him here is because he's the #1 receiver. Would this guy slow down? Emmanuel Sanders and Randall Cobb went bing, bing. The guy was sitting there waiting. This guy obviously wants to get off here and watch some more preseason football. All right, I'm going to do something. Obvious. This guy I've always wanted to take in the last several picks and haven't been able to, and that's Trey Burton. So I'm going to take Trey Burton as he won't be coming back. This is the last chance I have to get him, and a lot of tight ends have gone. He's really the next guy on my list.
You might start a trend here.
Well, the quarterbacks are probably going to – I'm going to be crying in a minute about quarterbacks, but we'll see.
No, I think you're going to start a little tight end run here.
Good. I love that now. Take them all. Notice Jacksonville went with the in the 8th round there as the defense.
Yeah. Man.
It's a bit high.
You see, I like that pick right there. Sterling Shepard, I think, is a very good pick in best ball in this range. I was actually looking into him. He was on my short list for this upcoming round. If he can just, you know, if him and Manning can get back on that page, you know, in the red zone, I think Sterling Shepard has sneaky value where he's going currently in his ADP.
Gotcha.
He's someone I'm targeting my season-long leagues.
Excellent. Wentz went 3rd pick right after my pick in the 9th round. Yeah, that was flying there. Where are we here? We're coming up on halfway, and we've gone. Well, I don't even remember when this thing started, but I'm not going to worry about it. Another defense. Now, recognize that these defenses are probably going a little fast because it is best ball, and a lot of teams are going to be taking 2 defenses, or even occasionally a 3rd. So defenses are going to go a little early in best ball. So if you're not playing best ball, you don't really need to take your defenses that early. And to me, a good example of how to do that is, unless you really believe Jacksonville is going to be completely better than the rest, which is typical, but defenses are high variance from year to year. You know, I'd wait till 6 or 7 or 8 defenses go, whatever round that is. The relativity theory there is whatever round that is. So if it's the 10th round and 6 defenses have gone, or 8, or it's the 16th round, then you start to think I need to take, there's Njoku, my defense.
Oh, man.
That was your guy.
That was my guy. I was going to go with the double whammy. I was going with Njoku and Reed back to back.
That would have been nice.
That's exactly what I was aiming to do.
Let's hope nobody takes Reed in front of you. I don't think they will, because he's still.
Oh, if they do, then I'm just going.
You're going to cry right on this thing.
Not only will I cry, but there you go. He went.
Oh, he did. Sorry.
Jeez, I feel like they're listening to us.
Yeah. They are listening to us. Here goes another quarterback.
There we go. Kirk Cousins went.
Oh, somebody's listening to us. No, I'm joking. Okay, your pick. You got 2 picks.
That is for sure. Yeah. Now I have to see what I do here. So what round are we? We're in the 10th round, 9th round.
My cheat sheet's messed up, so I'm going to have to play it by ear. For some reason, it got scrambled. I probably put the wrong scoring system in. All right, so this is flying along here. We've got 10 quarterbacks taken. I think it's 10. Let's see.
I did this last draft, and I'm going to do it
8
again.
quarterbacks. Oh, here.
So
Okay.
I got DJ Moore.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and then I'm gonna take a different approach here. I'm gonna go with Tyler Lockett. I'm loading up on receivers because I need to. Like I said, I know I have a lot of variables and a lot of question marks at the receiving position, so I'm gonna have to load up with as many as I can, especially when I don't know Gordon's and Jeffrey's status heading into week 1.
Yep, those
and
are good
potentially
picks.
Anderson.
You got yourself a rookie wide receiver. Is that your first rookie, I think, isn't it?
It is, and I got Cam Newton, so I kind of take that into consideration as well.
Gotcha.
There is going to be that game where they connect, and when they connect, going to accumulate double the points.
Now I've got a look here. There's been, I think it's 9 quarterbacks have gone here. So Wentz has gone too. It's getting kind of dicey here. I don't like that. Oops, I didn't mean doing that.
And this is the point of the draft where I think you go and you get the guy you want. You know, don't worry about the ADP. Don't worry if it's a couple rounds before he's typically going. And that's kind of what I did with these 2 receivers. I did take them a round or 2 earlier than they both are going. Maybe even more for Tyler Lockett. I'm sure I could have waited around for him. But at this point, you know, I'm taking guys I like, guys I want on my roster.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
There goes Garoppolo. So a real big run now at quarterback. So what I was worrying about when I ended up taking Benjamin and Burton, what's going to be left at the bottom of the 10th, and I've got only 2 guys or 3 guys left that's Rivers, Goff, and Mahomes. And Mahomes is a huge risk as the number 1 quarterback. But I may actually consider doubling up here in the bottom of the 10th. Well, there goes Rivers. So my hope is getting really thin right here. Now, if you're looking at the board, there's nobody who's taken. That's the last guy who didn't have a quarterback coming up to my pick. So the guy who's picking before me right now has 2 quarterbacks, and the guy just before me has 1. So I may still be able to get these 2 quarterbacks. Now I'm up, and the guy on the turn doesn't have a quarterback. So would you take Goff or Mahomes right now?
It's close for me. I would probably go with Mahomes. Actually, no, I would go with Goff.
Right, I'm going to go with the safe pick. I'm going to take Goff, like you said.
I think that's the safest pick.
The question is, okay, he took Roethlisberger. So and unless he doubles up at quarterback, I can get Mahomes here if I want to. And look what he did. He doubled the quarterbacks. Isn't that interesting?
That's very interesting.
And that puts me in a bind because, you know, to me there's a level there. So I blew it. You know, well, I didn't blow it. Now I'm going to have my second quarterback is going to be, you know, somebody who's not that good. Now the question is, I've got 38 seconds, and I guess I don't really have I don't have somebody to pick here, so I got to think real quick. I may just double up a quarterback because it's on my mind, because I'm not really. I got 24 seconds, so I wasn't really prepared here to decide what to do. Let me quick. I better hurry here, huh? Who's my other guy? You know what? I'm just going to take Matt Ryan. It's not what I want to do, but again, I wasn't prepared here.
I like pick a lot. I was going to pick him in the next round.
Oh, I mean, he'll bounce back most likely. I like to get running. I like to get some running quarterbacks, and both Goff and Ryan aren't. But Goff is a top 10 quarterback last year, a little bit better, and improving. And his running back catches balls. He's got all those talent. Even the tight ends are talent. So, you know, I'll live with that. I wish I'd have gotten Mahomes just because it'd have been fun and it's a sexy pick and he does run the ball. I may be better off with Matt Ryan than Holmes. And again, that's that thing that happens in drafts where you get all upset because you didn't get the guy you want, you know, mope around. And the fact is, you may be better off. There's Sir Galladay that went.
That's a good pick at this point as well.
Yep, there's a lot. My cheat sheet is weird. I don't know what's going on, but now I'm going to fill my little queue up while we talk here so I won't get stuck like I did last time.
Best thing you can do.
Man, I tell you what, it's a mess in here. I don't like any of these players. Sorry. That's
getting fun. Austin Eckler went, huh? Wow.
Yep, he went, 11th pick here. 11th round. All right, let me think what I'm going to do. Wait a minute. I know there's a guy I like now. Here he is. All right, I've got my queue filled a little, so I'm not as stupid as I was before. All right, so there goes Eifert, who's a very interesting guy who, of course, if he comes back to 90% of his normal self, is going to be a top 5 tight end. If.
Big if.
All right, big if. Well, yeah, it's a big if. I took him in a draft a few days ago or a week ago and ended up getting Croft as a backup. Here goes some more quarterbacks. So probably a good idea for me to double up on quarterbacks. The crazy Devontae Parker, who we can't figure out, just went. Hines went.
I think I'm going to give up on him.
Hines?
No, on Parker.
I think it's a good idea. I think sometimes we fantasy players, we get so excited about talent, and sometimes talent doesn't ever surface. The guy just doesn't have the mental part or whatever it is. David Carr. Okay, Bernard, good pick.
So I want running back here in the wraparound.
Love the Ty Montgomery pick. Love the Ty Montgomery pick.
And then with Joe Bernard, I think he's going to be involved in the passing game here. I think Joe Mixon is going to be the, pretty much the workhorse, but I still think Bernard has a role as a pass catcher in the Bengals. And he's healthy. And I heard, and this is something that, I heard on the radio the other day, a beat writer really, pumping him up and talking good things about him, saying that he really sees Bernard having a significant role in this offense. And maybe you got to take those things with a grain of salt, but these are things I pay attention to, especially when I'm drafting this late in drafts. I'm going to take those pieces of information and use them to my advantage. He's watching this team practice. He's watching this team in training camp. He's watching this team in the preseason. So this beat writer knows exactly what the Bengals are doing. So in an instance like this, I am going to take a chance. I'm not risking anything. If he doesn't work out, I exhausted a 12th round pick on him, or the last pick of the 11th round, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not really exhausting a ton of my draft on him.
And the nice thing what you've done is you got the 3 solid running backs in the first 3 rounds, and you did a lot of stuff at receiver and quarterback, and then you got pass catching running backs to fill 5 running backs. That's very good.
Yeah, and that's something I like to do. Kind of the strategy I do when I don't get the running backs early on. I don't mind just stacking a bunch of pass catching running backs towards the end of these drafts. I think that just makes a lot of sense, especially in PPR formats, because they do hold value. They're not the end all be all. They're not gonna save in by any means, but they do hold value, and they will at least produce some type of fantasy production for you on a week-to-week basis.
Good point. Wow, what to do next here? I got a few picks before. I'm a little. Oh, look at there. Alex Smith goes. So Team 5 has got 2 quarterbacks. There's only a few teams that don't have 2 quarterbacks. That'd be you and a few other guys.
I am one of those teams. I am one of those teams, but that is coming around soon. I have my guy's waiting to be picked. He just hangs around in the draft pool, and he knows I'm going to come and get him.
God, I've got actually a problem here because I've got about 4 receivers that I'd like to look at that are very tempting. Let's see what my turnaround guy, the guy in front of me who's going to get 2 picks after my pick, he's got 4 running backs and 4 receivers and 2 quarterbacks and a tight end. So he could do almost anything. I'm thinking of taking a receiver and a running back or double up on receiver. And the question is, will he take my running back? Because I only have 1 running back I'm looking at right now, probably because I just haven't sat down and looked at it. So I should take the running back is what I should do here, and then see what receiver comes back to me. Although I usually don't do that, but I'm gonna take that because I only have 1 in my queue, 1 running back. So I'm gonna take the running back, even though it's a little early for him. But taking Jordan Wilkins for Indianapolis. And I can't find him on my
I like
cheat
that
sheet.
pick a lot.
Yeah, you got him the last draft, and I didn't take him for that reason, but he's a big guy on that team, and if Mac can't stay healthy, I know Hines is, he's a smaller guy, he's going to catch the ball, but Jordan could end up being, the goal line guy and get a lot of yardage. So 12th round, we'll go for it.
I like that a lot.
That'll be interesting. So I have 4 running backs. Oh, and took a tight end. Oh, now this is tough. I've got a tight end. I'm pretty balanced, except I probably need to go receiver here. I got 5. I could do about anything here, but there's a couple of receivers I think have a chance to be productive. I'm going to just go with this guy, this Josh Doxson. That's a bit of a wild card. Of course, we're in the 13th round. Jordan Reed said a lot of things about Josh Doxson, that he's a new man this year. I didn't like what I saw in him the last 2 years, but I'm not going to go with the past. I'm going to believe Jordan Reed and see if this guy can be a wide receiver 2. Or wide receiver 3 at this point. I've got 6. He's my 6th wide receiver. So hey. And it's not always about, the rookie this or the fresh this. Sometimes these guys kind of figure it out. Although this is kind of the last year he needs to figure this out. Former number 1 receiver, if I recall, in a draft. A lot of quarterbacks have gone here. 19 quarterbacks have gone. And, of course, paralleling this to a normal draft. Go ahead.
My guy's still available.
That is fantastic. I feel disappointed in myself.
I might just end up with the same quarterbacks I had last draft, actually.
Oh, of course.
It's funny how that turns out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. We like our players. And like I was saying before, a lot of the high-stakes players, and if they're in 10 or 15 drafts, that they will vary that a little bit, just so that if they don't have Cam Newton as their starter in 8 of their 10 leagues, and then he has a bad year, and you've got problems in 80% of your leagues. There goes Trubinsky, Corey Clement, and let's see when this thing comes off. Come on. Blount just went. Gallup just went. Oh my gosh. I guess people are queued up here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
One more before you pick. Got that button on that quarterback. Paul Richardson, which is another good pick that a guy may be able to really perform this year, going to Washington from Seattle. All right, you're in the hot spot.
Is that what they call it?
No, I don't know what they call it. You're
all right. I'm going.
You're on the clock, I guess is what it is. You're on the clock.
Moncrief.
That was my other guy. It was either him or that's a very nice
Eli
pick.
Manning.
And Eli Manning. Okay, there you go. Those are nice.
It was only a matter of time.
He'd eventually gone. I don't know if he'd have come back to you. I think that was the last chance. Man, this is flying off the clock here. How many players, if this thing didn't keep showing the player in the middle of the draft, I've got one. There's only 2 teams right now that have 1 quarterback. Everybody else has 2 quarterbacks. There's Godwin. My Q is at 0. What in the heck? There's something wrong with my cheat sheet. Wow. All right, how many before my pick? Jeez. Godwin was a good pick. He could end up being a starter there in Tampa Bay.
I think he has that potential. I don't know if this is going to be a season. Maybe we're a season too early this year, but I do like him. I do think he's very talented. I do think he's going to be a big future.
And you can get him pretty late. A very good value pick. Wow, things are getting kind of thin here.
This is where here's why I say, take your guy as,
I don't have a lot of guys left right now. And actually, there's one more guy here. You need to tell these guys to slow down in this room. All right, I'm going to loop around. What are my minimal at here? I'm pretty balanced. The guy in front of me's got 2 tight ends. If I want to take a tight end, I can wait till my 14th pick, which is 2 picks later. Look at the tight ends go. I'm going to take a player that you're going to choke on.
I'm ready for this right now. Looking forward to see this.
Look at Bortles go. Okay, I'm going to take this quick. I'm going to take Robert Kelly. I know the guy, has been out of shape.
Actually, I'm very, very surprised that he's still around.
I kind of let him go. I know he doesn't catch the ball well, but I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity. P. Ryan's hurt again. I mean, the guy hasn't proven himself. Kelly is supposedly in better shape. It's the 14th round, and it's nice to get a 5th running back. Nothing's jumping out at me. Keelan Cole just went for Jacksonville, and I've kind of avoided Jacksonville receivers other than Moncrief that you picked in the previous round. This is going to be a tough one. I've got... I'm tempted to take a second tight end at this point. And I'm looking at O.J. Howard, who I have not taken in any of my drafts for really no good reason, except the fact that you have Cameron Bratt, or Braid, however you pronounce it, who takes touchdowns away from him, and it annoys me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something even crazy. I'm going to take the other tight end I like, and that's Benjamin Watson. Take the old fart, the non-sexy pick, who's the main tight end on a very powerful offense. So I did that. That's a tough choice right there. And
that's a position I'm probably going to have to figure out in this next coming round, because I have 0.
Yeah. Well, there's some interesting guys late. There's still some guys there that can perform. And the nice thing about taking lower tight ends in the best ball is you double up and get 2 or maybe even 3, depending on your strategy. Again, the best ball is going to help you with guys later on, like, well, there's a ton of guys, but, that's a good position to be in. Oh, there goes O.J. Howard, who I let go. Foreman just went. So I've got 2 tight ends. You don't have any tight ends yet. So I'm pretty much done with tight ends unless there's... Now, I really have to seriously look at defenses here because I want to take 2 defenses in the best ball league. So this next round, I probably have to consider taking a defense.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, and yeah, I think it's a matter of time before we got to take these defenses, but I'm still going to wait around. Now, there is a tight end here that I really hope gets me. I don't want to say his name because every time I say his name, I feel like they're listening to me.
Well, don't think about it either.
if you see a tight end go, just, it's the guy.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the guy.
I am on deck. Let's see what happens here.
Oh, he took a quarterback. 3 quarters. So we've got the first guy with 3 quarterbacks.
There we go. Finally. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Why not?
And Winston's not a bad quarterback. There he is. That's the guy I was going to mention earlier, and I didn't. And see, he's a nice guy. He's a rookie. Rookie tight ends are concerning, but this guy's looking good. And Miami, that's the guy. There's no other guy. So he's going to get a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that he has, he's going to get the volume. John Love and I spoke about Gesicki in a couple of my podcasts, so far this offseason, and we both are very high on. He follows college football. He thinks this kid's going to be a beast. So I trust that judgment quite a bit, and he's someone that I have pretty high expectations for, considering he's a rookie tight end.
Yeah, another interesting, just before you, the 9th pick in 15th round took Ryan Grant, who is another guy who people have forgotten about, non-sexy, came from Washington. He could be alongside Hilton as a starting wide receiver in Indianapolis, who has Andrew Luck throwing to him, and he got him in the bottom of the 15th round. Not bad.
Yeah, and then with the very next pick, I went Rishard Matthews.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. No, I just, I wanted to make that known here. I'm with you. I think Corey Davis is a guy here. I super high on Davis, but I still think Matthews will have a role in this offense. And again, we're talking about best ball here, so I don't have to make a decision on being right on Matthews, whether he has a good matchup with a cornerback or whether he has just in general a good matchup, and I don't have to worry about plugging him in. So I'm okay with taking a shot at him here. I do think he can provide some consistency, maybe a couple weeks in a row for me, and with a lot of question marks. And I don't mean to be redundant, but I just want people to know why I'm doing what I'm doing here, and kind of being able to pick my brain when I have so many question marks at wide receiver. I'm going to try to load up on players that have proven to be, reliable options in fantasy, and Matthews is one of those guys.
Now check this out. I love your logic. Antonio Callaway in the 16th round. I thought maybe he'd go to 19 or 20.
Wow.
After the problem he had, but the talent's there, and they're weak at receiver, and they still don't have Des Bryant.
I really think that's, I really like that pick, especially in best ball. There is that question mark, but who am I to say anything about question marks? Look how many I have on my team. Hey,
my pick. Okay, that's my pick. No, I love it. I think those are really good picks. All right, is it my pick here? I hate to say it, but I'm going to go with the defense, and Denver right now is my top-rated defense that's left. So I'm just going to do that and get it out of the way, although I should wait and take some time for my next pick, because my next pick I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. What do you think about the Sean McCoy situation?
I'm trying to stay away from the Sean McCoy. I was a little down on him before the incident, and that just really makes it easy for me just to stay away from him this year. I don't find myself drafting him a ton simply because of where he's going, and I like other options in that range much more than I do, McCoy. but it's just a matter of, I mean, he's been doing it year in, year out. I can't knock the guy. He's been reliable. He's stayed pretty healthy, so if you believe in him and you think he's going to be healthy again this year and you don't think he's going to see any type of suspension from the league, feel free to draft him.
I'm just free to draft him.
I'm just not one of those guys. I will probably have 0 shares of him, and I don't think that's going to bite me here.
Well, he's kind of similar to Josh Gordon in the fact that he's boom or bust. And I've watched him. He's still got the quickness, but obviously he's getting old, and this cloud of this issue hanging over his head. Now, it could be one of those things that takes a while to iron out, and they can't really act upon it till maybe after the season ends. I'm just postulating that. I'm not saying I know anything, but it sounds like a very sticky situation. If you've taken a drug test and failed, that's pretty black and white. But this is a whole different thing that may take time to come out. So he may play the whole year without any issues. I did take Chris Ivory just because it's the 17th round, and if LeSean either gets hurt or gets suspended, Ivory's going to get a lot of targets. There goes another defense. Chicago went with the 5th pick here in the 17th round. These guys want to go eat dinner or something, and they're drafting rapidly. Wow, look at it go. You're not going to have any defenses left here.
And as long as I got one, I'm okay.
You're only going to have one defense in the best ball league.
This is the thing, and I mentioned this before. I know you disagreed. And
it's just a question. It's just a question.
No. This is the beauty of having so many different opinions, so many different mentalities. Like, okay, so you only have to deal with one bye week. And defenses are volatile, and there's going to be a week where your defense, no matter how good it is, lets you down. So I'm okay with just, if there's going to be a week where I'm not going to accumulate points for defense, I'm okay with that, because that could be the week where the defense I have gives me negative points. So it's,
pick, by the way.
Yeah.
You're on the clock.
Sorry. I was battling there. Sorry about that. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you got time. You got 30 some odd seconds. Yeah, let's see here. I'm trying to plan ahead here, which you always should do, as I preach to people, which I haven't been, because I can't talk and look at a monitor at the same time. I don't know why. I've got about, just to let people know, I've got about 7 people on my stack for the bottom of this next round, which may or may not be enough, but it's always good to have somebody in your queue you've thought about, and all of a sudden a run occurs, and hopefully you still have.
Here we go. I'm going to take a quarterback simply because, I did this same strategy in the last draft, and when I have as high as I am on Eli, he is a very volatile quarterback. So I do want to have an option behind Cam Newton, 2 different options behind Cam Newton, and this late in the draft, there's really not a ton of things that I'm entirely interested in. So I'm going to...
Yeah, that's good. You got 3 quarterbacks.
Plug in all the holes here. And then...
You got 3 picks left in this draft.
Yeah, and one of those, I already know beforehand that one of them is going to have to be a defense. So technically I have 2 picks, and that's why I'm going with Tyler Kroft here. If Ivor can't stay healthy, Kroft showed last season that he can be a very reliable option. And I think even with Eifert healthy, Kroft will have some type of role.
Excellent. Now, this John Kelly from LA, I haven't really seen him yet. I have to take a look at him in film here. All right, so what have I got? I really probably need, I've only got 6 receivers, and usually I go 7 or 8 receivers. And kind of went off the rail there with an extra running back pick and securing a second tight end. So we'll see what's left here when I get to the bottom of the round. I don't have, as we're all sitting here trying to find a miracle in the 18th, 19th, and the 20th round. So not easy to find.
It is not. It's like finding a needle in a haystack sometimes, or you know, sometimes you do get lucky and you do find it. I know I found some of my gems last season in these rounds.
Yep. Well, you got to keep your head because they're there. There's guys right now that haven't been picked that could end up being very viable players.
Correct. And I have a couple on my list, you know, but I really wanted to secure a second tight end. And not saying Croft is any any type of insurance, but I still think he'll find the end zone a couple times this year, or multiple games this year. And
well, certainly, if
Eifert
fails,
yeah, that's the big thing for me. I don't think Eifert can stay healthy. We haven't seen it happen in a while. I don't see why that would change this year.
Eliminating the hope out of the equation. We all get into this hope thing. And sometimes you just got to say, I'm done with the hope. It's hard for us. We get all excited in preseason, and we want, we want everything to go perfect way. Oh, I know a guy I need to pick here. Yeah, here he is. He's still available. I may take him first. Well, thank you. I'm on deck, and it's Kansas City. I guess I'm going to have to leave my second defense here. Take some more receivers. Where are my quarterbacks at? There they are. Notice that 1, 2, 3, 4 teams already have two defenses. And
that's going to happen in best ball. And I'm not here endorsing to just take one defense in best ball. It's something I'm okay with doing. I know that there's going to be a week where I'm going to be hurting at the position, but I'm okay with that. I'm
now a defense. Team 3 has 3 defenses, which, if you feel real good about your draft, I don't go against 3 defenses, but you got to make sure you have all the other positions filled. I'm going to go with this little guy from Dallas, Cole Beasley. Could end up really
looking into him.
Yeah, he's a guy who people forget about, and given the fact you don't have Des Bryant around anymore, he could end up being very productive. What defenses are left? Do I want to take a second defense with my next pick? And actually, Carolina's still there. But unfortunately, the guy in front of me has no defenses. He could go bang, bang right here and totally blow that out of the water. Wow. It's getting pretty thin after that. Who did he take? Yeah, he did. Carolina, Detroit. Again, Armando, we shouldn't actually talk. It doesn't work.
That's why I've been quiet these last couple of picks here because
All right, I'm going to screw my second defense and wait to the other. Although I should be careful. Oh my God! The next pick is my last pick. What do I got? 31 seconds. Did you take Arizona this year? I have them in my top 15. It's kind of a crapshoot at this point.
I think that's fine. I mean, let me see the defense that are left.
Well, you got Tennessee, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Arizona, San Francisco, Cleveland, blah, 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 blah. I'm going with Arizona.
I think it's a crapshoot, though.
It definitely is. But I don't want to wait to the bottom because there may literally be 2 defenses left with this crowd.
That's something I'll I'll have to deal with.
You're going to find out here in a minute. Well, going in front of you, looking at the board, 2, 2, 2, 2. There's only one guy without a defense coming up to you with the 10th pick. There's one guy with 3 guys with only 1 defense. So if one goes to you, that would be very fortunate. Oh, Sam Bradford just went. I guess I'm not taking a third quarterback unless, well, I got one more shot at it in the bottom of the 20th. But I'm thinking of taking a wide receiver. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the next of the picks. Corey Grant, running back the Jacksonville, just went.
That's someone I had on my board still left. I thought, you said there's going to be people at this point that make a difference. I think that's someone that can definitely make a difference here.
Now, Yeldon. Has Yeldon been gone yet? Or he went in the 15th round. Okay.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone at this point, and you know, like you mentioned, we're just kind of like searching here for that player. I think this is a good time to take those players where maybe an injury or, you know, that they've shown some type of glimpse but haven't really seen the field because, you know, there are other veterans ahead of them. Taking a shot at a player like that makes some sense. And I have one right now, a wide receiver that, you know, to me can have an impact maybe a year too early. But I think, you know, and again, I have him in my queue here. I'm not going to mention his name just in case. Well,
I won't either then.
So something I do want to point out, I typically feel much better about drafting more running backs. I only have 5 on my roster. That's not something I typically like to do. I like to have at least 6. I think I'm going to get another running back here. But considering the running backs I took and considering I went really heavy on running backs early, I am okay, you know, and barring any injuries, I should still have a very good stable of running backs here for the entire season.
Gotcha. You know, we haven't talked about handcuffing. I'm not really a handcuff kind of guy, but I don't know if you've done it.
Well, that's why I wanted to go Grant. All right, so my guy landed to me, and that's Courtland Sutton. He's established himself as the number 3 wide receiver, according to reports. Everyone's being impressed by him. And maybe I'm a season too early, but that's okay. There's upside there. And then I am going to take the defense, and that's Dallas. I don't think they're a great defense by any means, but I do think they have a ton of playmakers that can force turnovers and get to the quarterback. And that's kind of what I'm looking for in defenses.
Well, certainly if they can be ahead in games and then the other offense has to take chances, that always helps, in my opinion, which they're a good team. They could bounce back and be a above 500 team and give you some breaks. Now, I've got one pick left. I've got a pretty balanced team. I could do a lot of different things. Let me just throw some names at you just so we can talk about it here. Frank Gore hasn't gone at running back. James Conner, Pittsburgh.
You see, to me, that's a very interesting pick.
Yeah, because he's looking good in preseason. He looks like he's really, you know, he's progressed a lot from his rookie season last year. And if Bell's missing any time, this guy could be huge. So upside.
We saw it the other day. He broke a 57 or a 50-yard run last night, didn't he?
Yeah, whenever. Yeah, I think it was last night. Oh, no, he didn't go. He's still there. I've got Albert Wilson at wide receiver. I've got, I had Enunwa. Somebody just took him. Dante Pettis for San Francisco is an interesting guy. And that Jake Kumaro for Green Bay is another interesting guy.
And Enunwa was someone I was going to, you know, kind of maybe take a shot at. I already went with Robbie Anderson, and I don't think having a lot of Jets players on my roster would make a ton of sense. It's not an offense I'm totally excited about.
And Albert Wilson could get some fun best ball points this year. He's almost one of the better receivers in camp. They've been raving about how good he looks. I haven't taken him for some reason.
If you watch the game, if you watch the game tonight, you saw that they were trying to incorporate him in the screen.
Yeah, they don't really have a good spot for him full time. That's the problem with him.
Correct.
Even though he's one of the better
receivers. You have the Parker situation, with the injury.
Okay, Frank Gore. So I've got 60 seconds. So Connor, Wilson is kind of my 2 guys right now. And considering it's the 20th round, I'm really thinking of taking James Conner, which is really weird because that means I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd have 7 running backs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 receivers. Not a big deal. I'm just counting. I'm not saying that you should get too crazy about proportions of running backs and receivers, but I'm going to take Conner just because if it's a handcuff situation, even though I don't have Bell, the upside if he plays I think is greater this year than it was last year. And I took him. And frankly, and there, look, Albert Wilson went with the last pick in the 20th round, the guy just after me. That's pretty good.
You know.
This has been a fun draft. I've really enjoyed this one.
It really has. I mean, and it's good to see. I'm glad that this round in this draft we both got two different ends of the draft, because it really shows how we can go two entirely different ways and be very happy about our team. I really like your roster construction. You know, I said throughout the entire draft that I really like your, you know, the approach you took here with these receivers.
What I did there is, you know, I was planning on guys like Lynch and Crowell to last because they're the non-sexy guys. And
correct.
I was able to get, I drafted Corey Davis early in the 4th because I figure he's not going to be there in the bottom of the 5th. And, you know, there's guys I could have taken. Could have taken Golden Tate. I could have taken Juju Smith-Schuster, Cooper. There's a lot of guys I let go. And then I was able to get the unsexy running backs, Lynch and Crowell. And if those guys do perform, you know, like I'm hoping they do. And I got Fuller later. But I also like what you did with going with the 3 running backs that dropped to you. That Fournette and Cook was fantastic. And then you got Ajayi and you got Robinson. You're looking good. You're looking good. And, of course, we all need people to perform. If Lynch bombs out and Crowell bomb out, well, it's not going to do too well for me. But I really think Lynch, I didn't really like Lynch until I watched him in preseason, and I know he had a nice run. It was a nice open, but I liked what I saw in his running ability and his speed. And I think with the new coach there, I think they basically lit a fire under his butt and said, you know, you better get in shape and you better perform or we're going to have somebody else running at running back. I believe that happened, and I think he'll respond to that. And Isaiah Crowell, he catches 35 balls a game, so he's going to give me some PPR points. Yeah,
and I think that's a good point on Lynch. You know, he's been an effective running back pretty much his entire career. And I don't know. I just look at John Gruden's offense, and I think that's the approach he's going to take anyway. So, you know, I think they're going to utilize Lynch, and he's going to be their workhorse there. I really
watch Cole Beasley be my. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just saying, watch Cole Beasley be one of my best receivers, and I took him as my last receiver. Again, that's what you need to be thinking in the bottom rounds. You need to be thinking about guys that this guy's a slot receiver, and they don't have Des Bryant there anymore, and he may get tons of targets. He may catch 60, 70 balls this year as a 18th round pick. You know, you don't give up in your drafts, especially if you miss some guy you love. Just let that go. Get on to the draft. There's players to be taken. By the way, back to your Gruden comment. I don't know if you watched week 1 preseason where he was on the field and he was standing there and he kind of took a breath, and it was kind of like I could just see in his eyes that he was so excited to be the coach of the Oakland Raiders after waiting 10 years roughly to get back into coaching. I think he waited till that job opened.
I mean, I love watching him. I love his passion, his enthusiasm, especially, you know, when I was watching him, you know, with these young rookie quarterbacks, and you would talk to them, and he just loves. He's a football guy. He loves the game of football, and you know, I take joy in watching that, because, you know, I'm not saying not all coaches love football, but he just has that love. You can just tell he loves the game of football, and he knows the game of football really well. So I'm excited to see what the Raiders are going to do this season.
Yeah, I'm not, you know, like a Raider nut. I'm old. I'm 61, and of course I have teams that I liked when I was younger, and I was a fan, and we're all fans of teams. But I've grown up through fantasy football as a fan of people in general. Gruden, I just can't wait to watch him on the sidelines. David Carr, I'd like to see how he performs with a coach like that. He's got a lot of upside. Callaway this year, the guy for Cleveland, I'd like to see him, you know, hopefully get over this situation and see what he can do as a rookie. It's just fun to do that. I'm all not about, you know, hating everybody that's not on my team. You know, appreciate the sport.
Correct. correct. And I really, this is going to be an interesting team to watch, I think. There's a lot of question marks here. You got Cooper, you got Nelson now joining the team, Clark coming off a poor performance. A pretty loaded, backfield when you look at there's, Doug Martin is he obviously isn't, elite by any means, but he's a pretty good running back a couple of years back. And Lynch has been one of the best running backs, in the league for years now. I know he's past his prime and he's a little older now, but still a very good running back. And a couple of young guys back there. Martavis Bryant, he has some off-the-field issues and whatnot. He might not, his head might not be there, but he's still a very talented receiver.
Gruden's got to get these in line, these people in line. And Bryant has been a problem child. That whole team the second half of the year, the coach completely lost them, in my opinion. They just were a wild team. They weren't paying attention to them. And Gruden's the kind of guy that's not going to allow that to happen. So he could bring the best out of guys like Martavius Bryant, etc. Even Lynch. I think Lynch was kind of he played well the second half of the season. I don't think he was ready. I don't think he was in shape. From the couch, I don't really know. But he looks in shape now.
Hey, we could tell these kind of things from the couch, can't we?
Oh, it's incredible. You can see things, though. I mean, it's you can see things.
Yeah.
And, you can't see everything, especially in preseason year. It's so hard to really pull from preseason, but you do. I mean, Callaway's got talent. He's on Cleveland. He's got problems. He may be suspended, but they need players. So there's a point where you take a Callaway, and that's the kind of thing you're looking at. But he's a real risk. But I think the guy got him in the 15th, 16th round in this draft, so that's not bad. Any last comments, and we can get back to watching preseason football, week 2?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to the next one. I think we're going to be doing another one next week, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we got the staff league on Monday.
That's going to be fun.
We could do that one, if you don't worry about the fact that, a lot of times when we're drafting and talking, you miss things. But if you want to do that, we could do that one. That would be a good one. A lot of fun people on that draft. But we'll talk about that later.
I would be willing to do that.
Cool. All right, I'm going to go watch some more football. This has been a blast. You're fantastic, Armando. And
I
it looks like
you did well. You did well tonight. I really like your team. Wouldn't be surprised to see you in deep in the playoff from this season. With that, I really like those a ton. All those guys, Hilton and Davis. So
it's been fun
today. Yep.
We love drafting, no doubt about it.
The more you draft, the better it is.
Yes, all right. Great time. We'll talk very soon.
Sounds good, sir. Have a good evening.
All right, talk to them.